The journey to financial freedom doesn't start with money. It starts with mindset. Philosophy is the foundation. It's the way you think about money, wealth, work, value, and opportunity. And here's the truth most people miss. You can't outperform your own philosophy. If you've been struggling financially, it's not just a matter of income or expenses. It's a matter of beliefs. The way you think governs the way you behave, and the way you behave determines the results you get. So, if you want to change your results, you have to start by changing the way you think. Too many people inherit a poor philosophy about money. Maybe they were told growing up that money doesn't grow on trees, or rich people are selfish, or we're just not the kind of people who get ahead. Those words become internal stories, and those stories silently shape decisions. You pass up opportunities because you don't believe you're ready. You spend instead of invest because the future feels uncertain. You earn a little more, but then self-sabotage because your self-image hasn't caught up. That's the power of philosophy. It can lift you up or hold you down without saying a word. Changing your financial life begins with becoming aware of your current beliefs. Start asking yourself honest questions. What do I really believe about money? Do I believe there's enough to go around? Do I believe I'm worthy of earning more? Do I see money as a tool for impact or a source of stress? Once you bring those beliefs into the light, you can begin to challenge them. Remember, just because you learned something early in life doesn't make it true. If your beliefs are keeping you broke, it's time to upgrade them. A wealthy philosophy isn't about greed. It's about growth. It's understanding that money is a reflection of the value you create. It's realizing that wealth isn't just for those people over there, but for anyone who's willing to learn the rules, play the game, and develop themselves. Your philosophy begins to change when you take ownership. You stop blaming the economy, your boss, your background, or your circumstances. You say, if it's going to change, I've got to change. If it's going to get better, I've got to get better. That shift in mindset does something remarkable. It activates your creativity. You start seeing possibilities instead of limitations. You become solution-oriented. You begin to study success instead of resenting it. You read books, listen to mentors, and invest in your mind. That's how a wealthy philosophy is formed. By feeding your thoughts with better ideas. Jim Rohn used to say, don't just work hard on your job. Work hard on yourself. Because when you grow, your finances grow with you. A healthy money philosophy also respects the laws of cause and effect. You stop looking for luck and start planting seeds. You understand that results don't come overnight, but they do come with consistency. You learn to delay gratification, to manage money wisely, to build streams of income rather than just collect paychecks. And most importantly, you start to believe that financial freedom is possible for you, not just for someone else. That belief is the starting point of every great transformation. It's also important to align your financial philosophy with your values. Money, after all, is a magnifier. If you're generous, money lets you give more. If you're disciplined, money multiplies in your hands. But if you're careless, money just disappears faster. That's why developing character goes hand in hand with developing wealth. You don't want to just have money. You want to become the kind of person who can handle it well. That requires maturity, self-awareness, and a commitment to growth. Financial philosophy is not something you learn once. It's something you live with every day. It shows up in how you talk about money, how you treat opportunities, how you respond to setbacks. Every dollar you spend or save is a reflection of your thinking. So if you want better finances, begin by feeding your mind better ideas. Replace scarcity thinking with abundance thinking. Replace fear with strategy. Replace envy with learning. Because once your philosophy is strong, everything else, your habits, your income, your investments, begins to rise to meet it. Attitude is the silent architect of your financial life. It determines how you respond to challenges, how you view opportunity, and how you handle both success and failure. If your philosophy is the foundation, your attitude is the fuel. It's the emotional tone behind your thoughts and actions. And when it comes to building financial freedom, the right attitude can mean the difference between staying stuck and stepping forward. Most people don't realize how much their financial habits are shaped not by knowledge, but by attitude. How they feel about money, how they feel about themselves, and how they feel about their future. The truth is, money flows more easily toward people who respect it, manage it well, and expect it. That doesn't mean you have to be arrogant or greedy. Quite the opposite. It means you need to approach your finances with seriousness, confidence, and responsibility. A casual attitude will never produce serious results. If you treat money like it's no big deal, it won't stick around. If you believe it's always going to be a struggle, you'll subconsciously create situations that confirm that belief. This is why some people earn more and still stay broke. They haven't adjusted their attitude to match their opportunity. A positive financial attitude begins with believing that you can change your financial future. That you're not limited by your past, your upbringing, or your current situation. That money is a tool, not a trap. That wealth is not reserved for the lucky or the chosen few. It's available to anyone willing to develop the right mindset and habits. That kind of belief is powerful because it influences your decisions. It gives you the courage to try, to learn, to take risks, to make changes. One of the best attitudes you can adopt toward money is that of a student. Stay humble enough to learn. No one knows everything, and that's okay. But what's not okay is pretending you already know it all and staying stuck. Learn from people who've succeeded. Read the books. Ask the questions. Financial ignorance is not a life sentence, but it is a choice, especially today when the information is everywhere. The moment you decide to learn, your attitude begins to shift from frustration to empowerment. Attitude also shows up in how you handle failure. Financial freedom is not a straight line. It comes with setbacks, mistakes, and hard lessons. But if your attitude is resilient, you'll see those moments not as reasons to quit, but as opportunities to grow. Maybe you made a bad investment. Maybe you overspent. Maybe you trusted the wrong person. Fine. Learn the lesson, adjust the strategy, and keep going. A poor attitude turns every failure into a full stop. A strong attitude turns it into a stepping stone. Another key part of your attitude is gratitude. It may sound simple, but it's powerful. When you're grateful for what you already have, you treat it with more care. You stop chasing out of desperation and start building from appreciation. Gratitude doesn't mean settling. It means seeing your current resources as enough to begin. That attitude alone can shift your entire financial direction. Because people who are thankful tend to be better stewards of what they have, and good stewardship attracts more opportunity. Then there's the attitude of responsibility. This is a game changer. When you take 100% responsibility for your financial life, not 70%, not 95%, but all of it, you stop blaming and start building. You stop waiting for a raise, a break, or a lucky moment. You start creating your own momentum. You take ownership of your income, your expenses, your choices, and your future. That kind of attitude is rare, but it's also magnetic. It draws in opportunity and confidence like few other traits can. So if you want to change your financial reality, start with your attitude. Ask yourself, do I carry an attitude of seriousness, or do I shrug things off? Do I approach money with confidence, or with fear and scarcity? Do I take responsibility, or do I make excuses? Your answers to those questions are more revealing than your bank statement, because your attitude always comes before your results. Get your attitude right, and you'll begin to notice a shift in how you think, how you act, and ultimately, how money flows into your life. Activity is the great separator between wishful thinking and tangible results. When it comes to financial freedom, it's not enough to want it, dream about it, or even talk about it. You've got to do something. You've got to move your feet, roll up your sleeves, and get to work. Because the marketplace doesn't reward intentions. It rewards activity. Ideas are powerful, but without execution, they have no value. And here's the key, not just any activity will do. It has to be intelligent, consistent, and aimed at creating value. Because money is attracted to value. Nothing more, nothing less. If you want to earn more, the first question you should ask is, how can I become more valuable? Not, how can I make quick money? Or, what can I get for free? The secret is to look inward and build skills that the marketplace needs. Communication, leadership, sales, problem solving, creativity. These are currencies that translate into income. If you become the kind of person who solves bigger problems, you'll get paid bigger rewards. It's as simple and as challenging as that. One of the traps people fall into is mistaking business for productivity. Just being active doesn't mean you're advancing financially. You can be running in circles and getting nowhere. Productive activity has a purpose. It moves you closer to your financial goals. It's about creating, not just consuming. It's about building assets, not just putting in time. It's the difference between someone who's always hustling and someone who's actually progressing. The former burns out. The latter builds up. Income is tied to activity, but it's not always immediate. There's a delay. You plant the seed, you water it, you nurture it, and only after some time do you see the harvest. That's where discipline and patience come in. The activities you do today, learning, saving, investing, reaching out, creating, may not pay off instantly, but they will eventually if you stay with it. The key is to trust the process. Don't let the delay fool you into thinking the activity isn't working. It is. Results just take time to catch up to effort. You also have to multiply your activity through systems. At some point, your income must outgrow your time. Trading hours for dollars has a ceiling. There's only so much time in a day. But when you build systems, businesses, investments, digital assets, you begin to leverage your time. You create something once, and it pays you again and again. That's intelligent activity. It's working on the system, not just in it. The goal is to shift from earned income to passive and portfolio income. That's how financial freedom becomes sustainable. Another piece of this is consistency. Success doesn't come from doing something once. It comes from doing the right thing over and over again. Whether it's saving, learning a skill, making sales calls, or writing that book. You've got to show up daily, even when you don't feel like it, even when no one's watching. Because each act of consistency is a brick in the foundation of your future wealth. It's not always glamorous, but it's always effective. And let's not forget creativity. In today's world, opportunities are everywhere, but only for those who look with open eyes and take bold action. That side hustle idea you keep putting off. It could be your breakthrough. That online course you've been meaning to take. It could open the door to a whole new stream of income. Financial activity today looks different than it did decades ago. The tools have changed. The access has improved. But the principle remains. Activity is the price of progress. Lastly, you must be willing to track and measure. What gets measured gets improved. Too many people are financially active, but have no idea if they're actually moving forward. You need to track your income, your expenses, your net worth, your investments, your returns. You can't improve what you don't understand. The more clarity you have about your financial activity, the more power you have to steer it in the right direction. So, take action. Smart action, consistent action, value-driven action. Don't wait for motivation. Start where you are. Use what you have. Learn as you go. Because it's in the doing, not just the dreaming, that financial freedom is built. Discipline is the hinge that swings the door of financial freedom wide open. Without discipline, the best strategies go unused, the greatest opportunities slip by, and the most powerful intentions dissolve into frustration. Discipline is what takes a good financial plan off the paper and puts it into practice. It's the quiet, consistent force that turns knowledge into action, action into habit, and habit into wealth. And here's what's interesting. It's not the big, dramatic gestures of discipline that make the difference. It's the small, daily choices. The ones that are easy to do, and just as easy not to do. Discipline with money begins with awareness. You must know where your money is going. Every dollar should have a name, and every name should serve a purpose. Without this kind of awareness, money leaks away through small, unnoticed expenses. A little here, a little there, and before you know it, your income is gone, and your goals are no closer. Discipline says, I will tell my money where to go, instead of wondering where it went. It's about being intentional, not accidental. Budgeting is one of the most basic forms of financial discipline, but many people avoid it because it feels restrictive. In reality, a budget isn't a cage, it's a map. It shows you how to get from where you are to where you want to be. It gives you control. It gives you clarity. Discipline means sitting down before the month begins and assigning every dollar a job. Some to expenses, some to savings, some to investing, and yes, some to enjoyment. Because financial discipline doesn't mean you can't enjoy your money. It just means you enjoy it on purpose. Discipline also shows up in the way you delay gratification. That's one of the master keys to wealth. Being willing to wait, choosing long-term gain over short-term pleasure, saying no to the shiny thing today so you can say yes to freedom tomorrow. It's the decision to invest instead of indulge, to save instead of spend, to build instead of borrow. Most people don't struggle with knowing what to do. They struggle with doing it consistently, and that's where discipline makes all the difference. There's also discipline in earning. It means showing up, doing excellent work, pushing yourself to grow, and refusing to settle. Whether you're an employee, an entrepreneur, or somewhere in between, financial freedom requires that you produce value consistently. You don't get paid for what you intend to do. You get paid for what you deliver. Discipline in your work ethic turns average income into above average results. It builds a reputation, it creates opportunities, and it lays the groundwork for multiple streams of income, which is where true financial independence begins to take shape. Discipline in saving is another crucial area. It means paying yourself first, not last. It means making saving a non-negotiable part of your financial plan, not saving what's left after spending, but spending what's left after saving. Even if it starts small, consistency compounds. A few disciplined saving habits today can create massive results over time. It's not about how much you save at first. It's about becoming the kind of person who saves no matter what. That habit alone can transform your financial trajectory. Investing requires discipline too, not just in choosing where to put your money, but in staying the course. The market goes up and down. Emotions run high. Fear creeps in. And that's when discipline becomes your anchor. The disciplined investor doesn't react to every dip or surge. They follow a plan, stay calm, and think long term. They understand that real wealth is built over years, not days. That's why discipline in investing is less about timing the market and more about time in the market. Let's not forget debt. Discipline here means using credit wisely or not at all. It means resisting the temptation to finance a lifestyle you can't afford. It means facing your financial obligations head on and committing to eliminate debt with focus and urgency. Discipline with debt isn't just about paying it off. It's about changing the behavior that caused it in the first place. Ultimately, discipline in personal finance is about character. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when it's not convenient, even when no one's watching, even when the payoff is far in the future. It's about becoming the kind of person who can be trusted with wealth, because money doesn't change who you are. It amplifies who you already are. And if you build the habits, the mindset, and the consistency of a disciplined person, wealth will find a place to grow. Discipline creates structure, and structure creates freedom. Generosity is one of the most misunderstood, yet powerful pillars of financial freedom. Most people think that giving is something you do after you've reached success, after the bills are paid, after the savings are full, after the investments are mature. But that's backwards thinking. Generosity isn't the reward for financial freedom. It's part of the pathway to it. Because giving changes you. It rewires how you think, how you feel, and how you manage your resources. It forces you to confront the difference between ownership and stewardship. It teaches you that you don't need more to give. You need more intention. There's something profound about the act of giving. It breaks the grip of scarcity. It sends a signal to your mind that says, there's more where that came from. And that shift is powerful because your behavior follows your belief. If you believe there's always enough to give, you'll approach life from a place of abundance. You'll take bolder steps. You'll invest more wisely. You'll operate from purpose, not fear. But when you hold tightly to every dollar, always afraid of running out, you begin to make small decisions, hesitant moves, and short-sighted choices. Fear shrinks your vision. Generosity expands it. Giving also cultivates gratitude, and gratitude is a magnet for abundance. When you give regularly, even in small amounts, you become more aware of how much you already have. You stop comparing and start appreciating. You start seeing money not just as something to accumulate, but something to use for good. That mindset doesn't just feel better. It works better. People who give tend to manage their money more intentionally. They know where it's going. They give on purpose, not by accident. And that level of financial awareness carries over into every other area. Saving, spending, earning, and investing. Another powerful effect of generosity is that it forces you to plan. If you want to be a consistent giver, you have to structure your finances in a way that allows for it. That means budgeting. That means cutting waste. That means living below your means. Not because you have to, but because you choose to. And in the process, you develop the very habits that build long-term wealth. Generosity isn't just an act of kindness. It's a discipline. And like any discipline, it makes you stronger, more focused, more resilient, more intentional. One of the great lies of our culture is that giving makes you weaker, that you'll have less if you share. But look around. Who are the people we admire most? The ones who give. Not just their money, but their time, their wisdom, their energy. The generous are the ones who build trust, who build relationships, who build communities. And trust and relationships and community, That's real wealth. Because financial freedom is not just about dollars in the bank. It's about having the freedom to live with meaning, with purpose, with impact. Generosity also builds emotional strength. When you give, especially when it's inconvenient, you prove to yourself that you're in control of your money. Not the other way around. You remind yourself that wealth is not your identity, but a tool. And when you separate your identity from your possessions, you gain a kind of inner freedom that money can't buy. You can walk into any room, face any challenge, take any risk. Because you're no longer living from fear of loss. You've already proven that you can let go. There's also a practical side to giving that often gets overlooked. Generosity opens doors. It creates networks. It attracts like-minded people. It builds goodwill that money alone can't purchase. In business, in partnerships, in life, people remember those who helped them, who gave freely, who contributed without keeping score. Generosity plants seeds that often grow in ways you can't predict. You give here, and something shows up over there. It's not always instant, but it's real. Life has a way of returning what you send out. Giving isn't about the amount. It's about the heart behind it. Whether it's 5,000 or 5,000 or 1,000, when you give with purpose, you grow. And that growth makes you more capable of handling the financial blessings that come your way. It's not just about building wealth. It's about building the kind of person who can be trusted with wealth. That's what generosity does. It trains your heart while sharpening your financial mind. Financial freedom without generosity leads to emptiness. Because eventually, you'll realize it was never about just having more. It was about doing more, becoming more, giving more. Generosity connects your money to your mission. It makes every dollar count for something bigger than yourself. And in that, it transforms not just your finances, but your life. Financial success doesn't happen by chance. It happens by choice. It is not a product of luck, inheritance, or timing nearly as much as it is a result of design. And design requires intention. Just like an architect lays out a blueprint before the first brick is placed, you have to lay out the vision, values, and strategy for your financial life before lasting wealth ever becomes reality. It begins with a decision. A conscious choice that you are going to take control, that you're going to act on purpose, not just react to pressure. Most people live financially by default, not by design. They earn, they spend, they borrow, they wish, and then they repeat the cycle. There's no structure, no plan, no vision. They're drifting. And the problem with drifting is that you never drift to a good place. You drift into debt. You drift into stress. You drift into crisis. Design means you stop drifting and start steering. It means you become the captain of your financial ship, setting your course and adjusting as needed, but always moving with direction. Financial design starts with clarity. You must know what financial freedom means to you. It's not the same for everyone. For some, it's early retirement. For others, it's starting a business, traveling, giving generously, or simply living without the anxiety of money controlling every decision. You have to define what success looks like, how it feels, what it allows you to do, who it allows you to help. When your goals are vague, your efforts will be scattered. But when you have clear, written, compelling financial goals, your behavior starts to align. Once the vision is clear, the next step in intentional design is creating a system. Systems make success repeatable. A budget is a system. A savings plan is a system. An investment strategy is a system. And when you follow systems, you remove the emotional chaos that often comes with money. You don't rely on willpower. You rely on structure. You don't guess. You plan. Systems simplify decisions and allow your energy to focus on execution. instead of constantly questioning yourself. Designing your financial life also means aligning your habits with your goals. You can't want long-term wealth and practice short-term thinking. You can't say you want freedom while living paycheck to paycheck because of impulse spending. This is where discipline, awareness, and self-respect come into play. You begin to track, to measure, and to correct. You start saying no to some things so you can say yes to bigger things. You realize that intentional design is not about restriction. It's about prioritization. It's about choosing what matters most over what feels urgent in the moment. Part of designing your financial future is making sure you're not doing it alone. You need mentors. You need models. Success leaves clues, and there are people who've already walked the path you're on. Learn from them. Read their books. Study their habits. Don't just admire wealth. Understand it. What are the principles that govern it? What are the patterns that sustain it? Then begin applying those principles in your own life. You don't need to invent financial freedom. You need to implement it. Design also includes preparation for challenges, because even with the best plans, life throws curveballs. Emergencies happen. Markets shift. Jobs change. And if you haven't designed a margin into your money, a savings cushion, an emergency fund, a backup plan, then every bump becomes a crisis. Intentional design means preparing for the unknown, not just reacting to it. It means building resilience into your finances so that a bad month doesn't wipe out a good year. Another overlooked part of intentional financial design is reviewing and adjusting. Plans are not static. Your life evolves. Your goals grow. Your responsibilities change, so your plan must remain flexible. Regular reviews of your income, spending, savings, and progress keep you engaged and on track. You get to celebrate small wins, identify weak spots, and course correct without guilt. That's not micromanaging. That's maturity. It shows that you respect your future enough to stay involved in building it. Ultimately, intentional financial design transforms the way you live today. You begin to carry yourself differently. You spend with purpose. You earn with focus. You invest with confidence. You stop chasing quick wins and start building lasting foundations. And this intentionality spills over into every area of life. Your time, your energy, your relationships. Because when you live by design, not by default, you take ownership of your outcomes. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and become the architect of your destiny. Financial freedom is not reserved for the lucky or the chosen few. It's built by those who embrace the right philosophy, adopt a winning attitude, stay consistent in productive activity, apply disciplined habits, lead with generosity, and design their financial life with intention. Each of these 5 pillars is not just a principle, but a daily practice. You don't have to be perfect to succeed. You just have to be purposeful. When you decide to take full responsibility for your financial future, align your behavior with timeless principles, and stay committed to growth, you begin to build not just wealth, but a life of meaning, impact, and true independence.